In 1992, this man was milking cows that looked like these in this barn. After about 2 weeks of dating, he invited me over to his house, where I got out of a car that looked a lot like this, in this driveway, looked around at all of this, and knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. I was about 30 years old when we started to date, and after a while, I kind of wanted to know what his intentions were for our relationship. But the more I pushed, the more uncomfortable he seemed. And the more uncomfortable he seemed, the more I pushed. It didn't take very long for a pattern to emerge. I would bring it up, he would try to avoid it. I would bring it up again, he would go into withdrawal. I would get angry, he would go deeper into withdrawal. And it just got worse and worse. I was very frustrated, he was very frustrated, and that went on for 18 months. During these periods of withdrawal, he would completely shut down. He would be unable to speak to me. He would go through maybe 5 or 10 minutes of complete silence, and when I said to him, well, what do you think of what I just said? He'd say, well, what do you mean? I didn't realize it at the time, but he could not remember what I had just said because he was really that afraid. And you can imagine when that happened, I got angrier and angrier. I could not imagine why he couldn't just tell me how he felt. Well, one night we were on our way home from a party and he was acting kind of weird, and I said something to him like, are you okay? And he said, oh yeah, I just have a headache because I didn't have enough caffeine today. I said, all right, well, jokingly, you still love me? And he said, oh yeah. 2 days later, he was in my living room telling me he did not love me anymore and he wanted out. After that, I went into a period of deep depression. I could not figure out what had gone wrong in our relationship. I had thought everything was going really well. But after a couple of months, I began to really see that it had been a pattern in my behavior through the years, that I had been kind of pushy and a little bit of a bully in other relationships that I'd had. And I began to realize that I really couldn't blame anybody if they didn't want to be in a relationship with me. I did not know that at the same time, Lynn was starting to look inside himself and figure out that if he couldn't learn to express his feelings, he was never really going to have any success in a relationship either. Well, watch the next video and I'll explain how we actually did get back together.